we've often been criticised, myself and Mark, for politicising the union. And some people believe that we should be politically neutral. There is no trade union in the land that's politically neutral. You can't be politically neutral when you're in a trade union because it affects everything that politicians do affect your lives and your family's lives. What you can be is party neutral, and we are party neutral, but that is a lot different from being politically neutral. So I make no apology whatsoever of being politically active on your behalf, along with this executive, along with the national chairman, and we will continue to do that to the best of our ability, working with all parties. I think most people know my values. I'm a self-confessed socialist, and I make no apologies for that. I've never voted Tory in my life, and I don't suppose I ever will. But the reality is, I know that the POA membership are a very broad church, and I respect your views. So we will continue talking to all parties and trying to get the very best that we can for you. In fact, I've just had news this morning that the certification officer levy has been sanctioned by government. So we've got to pay, along with other trade unions, for the privilege of the certification officer investigating us, and we pay their salaries. I can't think of anything worse, quite frankly. But the reality is, that's what it is, and we will be politically motivated in watching that bill go through Parliament, and we will try and get amendments as best we can. I forgot one thing in relation to finance, and that's Scotland. We've listened to our Scottish membership and the branches about the building at Calder Road. Calder Road is probably based in the wrong position in Edinburgh. It's probably better being in the central belt. So Phil Fairley, our Assistant Secretary in Scotland, done a business case that was put before our lawyers and also put before the Scottish branches to see if they wanted to move away from Calder Road. And the best thing, the solution that we've come up with, which was endorsed by the executive at a recent NEC meeting, was to sell Calder Road and lease a place in the central belt, because otherwise we're just going to keep pouring money into Calder Road, and it's just a total and utter waste of money. So we've got to cut our costs, and that money from the ring-fence sale of Calder Road will be ring-fenced for Scottish premises, hopefully for the next 25 to 30 years. But you'll hear more on that at next year's conference in my finance report. So I just want to give you a flavour about some of the cross-party stuff, coalition that we've been doing through the Justice Unions Parliamentary Group. So, for example, as I've said, some people think we just work with the Labour Party. Well, we're not affiliated to the Labour Party, and I don't suppose we ever will be unless they ever restore our right to strike, or any government I'd support if they restored our right to strike, quite frankly, and put private prisons back into the public sector. And I'll touch on that in a second. So a lot of our work has been done in Parliament and will continue to be done. And we've got some good backers. So, for example, people like Gordon Henderson, Conservative, Wendy Chamberlain, Lib Dem, Liz Saville-Roberts, Plaid Cymru, and also co-chair of the parliamentary group, Kenny McCaskill, who was in the SNP but is now in Alba, and Jim Shannon of the DUP, Chris Stevens of the SNP. All those individuals speak in Parliament on your behalf because we brief them. We brief them on justice questions, parliamentary questions, early day motions. So that will continue. Our campaigns have got to continue with all parties that will listen. And if that means sitting with the Tories, if you get a Tory that's been kind to us, and we've had that in the past, I've got to say I had a good relationship with Robert Buckland. I'm not sure I'll have a good relationship with Dominic Raab because he's not met us as yet. But there's still time for him to sit down with us, because the reality is we've seen since 2010 8 Secretaries of State come and go. We're the constant. We're still here. You're still here. We know our trade union inside out. We know that the recruitment and retention is a massive, massive problem. It's at crisis level now. And we need him to understand that. And the only way that they're going to address that is to give operational support grades and unified grades a decent pay rise that means people want to stay in the job. It's as simple as that. No ifs, no buts, a proper, decent pay rise. On the 15th of December, we have our appeal against the decision of the courts to reject our judicial review on recommendation 3. I'm hoping that our legal team can put up considerable arguments so that we get a full hearing. And of course, that's an additional cost as well. So we've got our legal challenges, and we'll have to rob Peter to pay Paul on finances to ensure that we get you, as members out there, our loyal members, dignity at work and fair pay at work, to enhance your terms and conditions and make sure we come out the other end of this together. So I'm hoping that we can achieve on that. So that's why we will always be political. That's why we have a political fund, because you, the members, endorse that political fund, and you do that every 7 years. And you pay out your subscriptions. You opt in to pay 15p a month into that. It doesn't go to a political party. It allows us to campaign on your behalf on the very things. And we need to become more adept at it and strategically do that more at local level and get our members more involved in putting pressure on members of Parliament. It's as simple as that. Campaign together and we'll win together. But everybody's got to be on board in relation to that.